In this video, we're going to see if we can make the engine bay in this vintage jet boat a little bit more accessible. So stick with me and I'll take you along for the ride. So as I was alluding to, the engine bay on this boat is a little tough to get into at times. So you have the access point here, you have the access point here by taking off the rear seat, but also this entire section right here does lift out. It's held in place by 4 bolts, but it is a bear to get out by yourself. It's not that heavy, but it's pretty awkward because of the shape, and it's not very balanced and things like that. So what we're going to do is try to eliminate the use of the bolts is what holds this up, and add some aluminum angle over here and over here. I've already gone underneath and I've drawn a line and marked where this bottom edge sits on the side over here. So I'm going to go ahead and lift this off, and then I'll show you what that looks like, and we're going to cut this angle for a starting point to have it set on the angle iron. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add a piano hinge later. So stick with me and I'll get that thing lifted out of there. Alright, so you should be able to see over there, there's a marker line scribed. That represents the bottom edge of this cover on the side, you know, where it rests over there, and you can see where the screw holes are. I did that on both sides, so now I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the side of my cover here, and I can see where the holes are. I'm going to measure in between, and alright, so you can see I got about 20 inches from this hole over here to about the end over here, a little bit less. So I'm going to go ahead and cut off my rod, two pieces or cut off my angle rather, 2 pieces at 20 inches. Now I'm just going to use a Sawzall for that. I'd use a bandsaw if I did, but if I had one, but I don't, so I got to work with what you got, and what I got is a Sawzall. So that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to cut off my 2 chunks and I'll bring you back. Alright, I've got our pieces cut. I've also marked out where I want my hole locations to be. So I've got one right in the middle at 10, and I went 2 inches in from each edge, and I went ahead and I used a centering punch to pin that in there. So I'm going to head over to my drill press with a 1/4 inch drill bit and drill out my 6 holes. So I'll bring you back once that's done. Alright, all my holes are drilled, so I'm ready to hop in the boat here and drill my holes for where we're going to mount this. So I'm going to go in there and just double check all my measurements to make sure that I am where I need to be with that line. And I'm going to go ahead and mock up my, fumbling tonight. Mock up my ledge like this. That's how it's going to mount, and put the top edge here on that black line there. And then use my centering punch to mark out where I need to drill my holes. Well, use the pointed end actually, but you get the idea. So I'm going to hop in there and do that, and I will bring you back once I've got that drilled out. And we're back. I got my 3 holes drilled on each side, and I'm ready to mount these pieces of angle. So I've got all stainless steel hardware here, 1/4-20, so that it won't rust up on me, and if I need to take it off, I won't have to fight it. So I'm going to go ahead and mount those up and show you when I'm done. Okay, angle's all mounted up. Now it's time to pull the lid back in place and see if she sits right. So let me wrestle that for a minute, and then I'll bring you back. Alright, well, the cover is resting on the angle now, so that's a big win in itself. Now I don't have to worry about it falling through, you know, taking out bolts and things like that. So that's good. Now the next step, I will have to lift the back end up, and we're going to start working on that piano hinge. So let me get that set up, and I'll show you what we're going to try to accomplish here. So stay tuned. So I took a good hard look at this off camera and did a lot of figuring, and what I figured was that piano hinge was going to be an absolute bear to install. So I went ahead and I jumped on the old Amazon, and I found a set of 4 stainless steel marine hinges here that are made for doors and things like that, but I think that will be a lot easier to set up, and probably a better long-term solution. So all that's involved here is I need to make sure that these are lined up exactly where I want them to be. I've got to drill a few pilot holes here and run some screws in, and then this thing should be done, as opposed to that piano hinge. Now, if by chance those screws do pull out, I'm going to have a lot easier access to this than the piano hinge, so I can drill holes and I could put bolts through if I wanted to. But we're going to try the screws. Guy I talked to that did do a piano hinge for this application said he used screws for the piano hinge and it worked okay, but he said it was an absolute bear to line up. So I'm going to try this method and we're going to see how it works. So let me go ahead and I'm going to get this as lined up as I can, get my pilot holes drilled, and get a couple of these attached and see how it works out. So stay tuned and I'll bring you back. All right, I've got 2 of them installed so far, so I'm going to go up there and give it a little test lift, and we'll see how that works. So let me set you up on the tripod and I'll show you how the lift goes. So stay tuned. All right, here we go. Let me hop up in there. All right, I like that. Smooth as butter. All right, well, let me get the other 2 installed and then I'll bring you back. Stay tuned. All right, we got all 4 installed. Now let's hop up in there and give her another test lift. Oh, yeah. I feel good about that. I feel like we got plenty of strength here holding this in, so I think we're going to be in good shape. All right, so now we'll hop off and we'll get that lid rigged up open, and we'll work on getting a cable on there so that it doesn't fly all the way open. So stay tuned. All right, everyone, so what I've done is I got some stainless steel hardware. So the idea is I mounted it up here on the cover pretty high, and I mounted one down here on the side of the boat here in solid places, again using stainless steel hardware. So I'm going to do a similar setup to this with the cable. So I'm going to run a cable, loop it through here, clamp together, loop it down there, clamp it together, and that should hold. Now, I did buy enough hardware to do both sides, so we'll see how the one side holds. Because this is so wide, I'm afraid of it, twisting this way once it's up there, but, once it's under suspension. But we'll give it a whirl with the one side and see what happens first. So stay tuned and I'll get that cable set up and I'll show you how it looks. All right, I got my cable hooked up and it is freestanding right now. So it does lean a little bit over to that way, but it's not as bad as I thought it might be. So we might be okay. So it's really not going to be in this position that often. So for the little bit that I'm going to do it, it's probably fine. I can always add another cable if it becomes a problem. So let's try to give it a lower down now and see how that works. Hopefully I can do that one-handed here for you. Oh, there, that worked pretty good. All right, let's see, the cable hangs down. Yeah, not too bad. Doesn't get anywhere near the exhaust manifolds or anything. All right, let's put it back up, see how that looks. Okay, that's gonna work. All right, so I have one more step to do. I'm gonna lower it back down, and I am gonna put a pin with a cotter pin in that hole and that hole right there. That way it's locked in place, so when I'm going down the road, towing it, or when I'm going across the lake, it doesn't want to flop up on us. So that shouldn't be any big deal, just having a pin go all the way through the backside with a cotter pin I can just pull out and take out each time, because I can reach that pretty easily from up here. So I'm going to go ahead and slide that in there, and we will show you the finished result. So stay tuned. Okay, I've got my pins in, and that's going to work out pretty slick. It's pretty easy to reach under there and put the pin in and the cotter pin in and pull that other pin out. So I mean, that's going to hold it well enough. Yeah, I might get a little rattling going down the road, but I'm not too worried about it, because also the seat, buckles into this as well, so it's going to have another contact point to help hold it down. So I think we're in good shape. So that's going to do it for this video. If you haven't seen me before, you can see part 1 where I actually pulled out this engine and rebuilt the jet pump. I'll put a link right up here. And then look forward to part 3, where I'm going to go ahead and tear that motor apart down there and see what's up with the M-Play. So, like I said, that's it for now. So, thanks for watching, and please come back again, like and subscribe. Obviously, leave comments if there's things you think I could do better. I'd love to hear about them. So, until then, take care.